Welcome viewers. This is Janiser Ahmed from Millennium TV USA. As usual, I welcome you to my show News and Views. Viewers, I was looking up on the internet and I came across this very wonderful piece of news that I really want to share with you. And in this news item, there is some hope for White House press corps, the reporters who work the beat, around White House. And this is a very beautiful kind of gift, a healthy gift for the reporters, viewers, kind of an unexpected gift for the White House press corps, coming from a famous movie legend and TV star Tom Hanks, who sent an espresso machine for the White House press reporters. Viewers, one of the reporters, Steve Holland, who works the beat for writers, he tweeted a picture of the new espresso machine, and also he thanked the famous actor for sending them that gift. And he also, in the follow-up tweet, he posted a note of that was sent along with the machine, and in that note, Tom Hanks, he has a kind of a message for the reporters, and Tom Hanks basically is telling the reporters to keep up the good fight for truth and justice, and at the end he exhorts the reporters to be very specifically keep up the truth part. So viewers, quite a respite for the reporters working at the at the White House. This is like quite a cream of the entire media industry, because those correspondents who work that beat, they are regarded generally as at the top of their of their entire field, and they are very they know quite well their entire beat and the area that they are working in. So they are regarded as the cream of the profession. So viewers, this gift actually comes right in the midst of the controversy that recently was seen in media, where there was seen as a kind of a gap in the reporting itself. For instance, criticism was placed on media, on a section of media, for not being truthful and for being a little bit sensational in its coverage of politics, and particularly the election campaign. So this gift definitely gives them a little respite and something to cheer on, something to be happy about. Viewers, Tom Hanks, as you are already aware of, he is a movie legend. He is the star of Hollywood, and few of his famous movies include Castaway, in which there is a passenger on board, and the plane, it crashes on an island, and he is left to fend for himself on a lonely island, and at one point in time he is able to get some kind of raft, and he gets help from a big ship moving close to his raft, and that was quite a hit with viewers. Also, another of his very famous movies was Charlie Wilson's War. It was a movie that portrays America's role during the 80s and against the Soviets. So viewers, very famous movies, and of course Tom Hanks is a household name, and his gift for the White House press corps, it means a lot, definitely for the reporters who have received that gift, and who, as we talk, might be drinking from that espresso machine. So viewers, moving on, in another news, Yahoo has recently stated that close to 32 million accounts they were breached using forged cookies. Viewers, on Wednesday, the company stated that the latest intrusion, it can be traced back to some of the old actors and perpetrators who carried out the security breach in 2014. And but it recently, it also stated, and in fact it explained that those cookies right now, they have been disabled, and that the intrusions of like further intrusions, they are not possible, and that they have been able to do the repair kind of work. So viewers, also in around 2013, Yahoo announced that data from around 1 billion accounts, user accounts, it was compromised, much to the chagrin of the users themselves, and millions and millions of people who were directly affected by that internet security breach. Viewers, this has poured cold water over the recent deal that was in the making when Verizon, it was trying to buy Yahoo, and it lowered, in fact, after these this news came up, it lowered its offer from 4.38 billion US dollars to around 350 million US dollars. So viewers, not a very desirable company, it seems, anymore, so far as Verizon is concerned, because Verizon has been doing very good in the in the business market, in the telecommunication industry, and it has been making one gain after another. And so now, but now that deal, it has it has been stalled, it seems, with that recent security breach. Viewers, moving on, in another interesting, very interesting, in fact, news. Uber's CEO, Travis Kalanick, he recently was seen, in fact, one of his footage came up on the internet where he was seen as having quite an argument with the cabbie. And in fact, at one point in time, he was trying to berate the taxi driver for whatever reason. The argument developed when Mr. Travis, he gets into the car and with friends, and he's just having a good time, it seems. Everything is perfectly all right, and the cabbie, he's just taking him to his destination. But at one point in time, when he is they reach the destination and he hands him the fare, that is when the cabbie, he explains to the Uber's CEO that because of some of the the policies that the company has been pursuing, he has been losing quite a lot of money, and that he has not been able to make enough money, and that he is in a very bad shape because of those what he calls his policies, leading to his he's running out of money because of those policies. So after that, what happens? Mr. Travis, he hits back and he says, well, there are people in the world who who always are seen as blaming others for their own problems, and and he was seen as very angry at that time when making that comment, and that was when they both of them entered into an argument, and it was recorded, and it came up on YouTube, on the internet, and it went viral, and it was seen as leaving not quite the impression that one really expects from a person of Mr. Travis' stature. But viewers, later, Mr. Travis Kalanick, he apologized, and he stated that that he needed to grow up, that he needs to get some kind of he needs to work on his leadership skills, because he was really sorry, he was really apologetic at what he had done after that clip came up on the internet. So viewers, there is this view now. On the one hand, Uber has been doing a tremendous job. It has been seen as one of the few top companies around the globe who are doing excellent job. Their profits, they keep increasing, and because of the recent technology, how they have completely brought about a revolution in the transportation industry. Like you just need to download the app and you can have the cab waiting outside, right outside your door, and it can take you wherever you want in a matter of seconds, if not minutes. So that is seen as a revolution in the transportation industry. And Uber is now like in the lead in this race. But that that footage, it shows the human side to the company's CEO, and maybe he needs he is after all a human being, and he got his emotions got the better of him at that particular time. And but also, viewers, there have been some other problems that the company has been facing. For instance, one of the female engineers working at the company, she stated, in fact, on a very popular blog post, she complained that she had been approached for, and in fact asked for, unwanted sexual advances. And when she complained against the perpetrator of those, of that act, no action was taken against that individual, and that was really sad. So right now, Uber is looking into those charges, and it is trying to separate fact from fiction. But viewers, that shows us that there is always a human side to all of us, and even no matter how rich or how poor you are, you can be the CEO of one of the the biggest companies in the world, but you still have your emotions, and you have to live with those emotions. And sometimes you can't just help venting out your expressions and your anger. And that's what CEO Mr. Travis Kalanick did while having a spat with the taxi driver. So viewers, here a quick break. We'll be just right back. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back in a while. Welcome, viewers. Viewers, in this section, we'll be including news from science and technology. Viewers, if you were thinking that there are actually no aliens on Mars, you, I think, are mistaken. There are certain devils living, existing on Mars, on the Martian, atmosphere. This is, quite a recent news. In fact, viewers, the photographs captured by a Mars rover, they reveal the existence of certain tornadoes that are generally called as dust devils. In fact, they exist on Mars. They form on the Martian surface. And this is, viewers, quite a news, because this shows, while this actually does not reflect the existence of life in general, or like life as we know it on Mars, this actually, at least it shows that there is some kind of atmospheric activity going on the planet, which is very significant so far as human research is concerned, because any kind of tornadoes or any other related activity, it shows that there can be a kind of a climate, a weather existing on the Martian surface, and that again will prove beneficial for the upcoming crews heading for the Mars. Viewers, in the footage that was captured, there appears to be certain small kind of air, a mass of air, and then it really suddenly it accumulates, gathers certain dust, and then it starts to swirl, and then it accumulates its mass, and it becomes even bigger, and then what it looks like is the kind of tornado that we normally see in our on our planet. So it's much like the kind of cyclones and the tornadoes that we see. Like it swirls in a circular manner, and it gains as it moves on. So viewers, this is quite a discovery for science, and a small step forward so far as the research on Mars is concerned, more of it has been revealed. Viewers, the Curiosity, uh, the rover, in fact, the probe Curiosity, it was able to capture these interesting photographs. In fact, viewers, the Curiosity, it landed on Mars in 2012, and that was considered to be a major leap forward so far as discovering the Martian uh, surface was concerned. Also, viewers, the first vessel to reach Mars, that was Viking in 1976, and that was when the entire area of research, it was diverted to Mars and to discovering more on what life was like on Mars. Viewers, there is extensive research going on. For instance, right now, as we talk, NASA is conducting a very gigantic research program in order to send first humans on Mars, and there are different there is no set timeline, but for instance, the first mission, it could be completed by anywhere. It could start from 2020, and it could complete at around 2030. And so within that time frame, we are expecting to see some kind of human mission going on to Mars, and not only just going there. Those scientists, they will be settling down on Mars. They will be creating a new kind of a habitat for themselves. New facilities will be set up on Mars in which they can live and they can exist, and perhaps this will be an attempt to colonize Mars, and in order to take humanity to a new planet for their survival. So viewers, also this week, NASA also stated that it has actually found that there are a number of Earth-like planets in a nearby galaxy, and from what they say, they appear to look like Earth, the planet Earth, but from that it cannot be ascertained whether they contain life or not. But so far as this research goes, those planets look quite familiar to our own planet. Viewers, moving on, there is now we'll be including news from our South Asia. Local news is from Bangladesh, where Qatar Airways is now planning to increase its flight operations from Dhaka to Doha, and now it is planning to add a third flight to its Dhaka and Doha flight operations, and that decision has been taken given the fact that more and more passengers, they travel to and fro between both the countries, and hence the need for more flights. So viewers, the Qatar Airways, it has also announced close to 30% discount for the travelers on that flight route, and this is considered to be quite a boon for the airways, as it shows the burgeoning tourist population, so to speak. Viewers, the Qatar Airways, it announced, stating that the Qatar Airways launched services to Dhaka 20 years ago, and our travelers have continued to benefit from airline's significant growth. The increase in flights provided added convenience for our passengers and caters to strong passengers' demand for those traveling to and from Bangladesh. Viewers, the additional daily A330 services will be specifically pointed to the passengers heading USA and Western nations. So viewers, quite a step forward for the airline industry, and also it will prove definitely a win-win for the passengers, the people who want to travel on time and who want to make it in time, particularly the business class. So viewers, here a quick break. Do not go anywhere. We'll be just right back. Welcome viewers. In this section, news from South Asia, more news from South Asia, and in fact from Pakistan, where the PSL Pakistan Super League final is to be played, on March the 5th in Lahore. But the news is what has in fact captured the headlines is three English players. They have announced that they will not be coming to Lahore to play the PSL final in what is it is regarded as quite a blow for Pakistani cricket. In fact, yet another blow for a country that is trying to reinvent itself in the international cricketing arena and trying to convince the international cricket community that it is safe, they can come over and they can play the game. But the refusal of those three big players, those big time players, they are none other than Kevin Peterson, Timel Mills, and also Luke Wright. These three players, now they were part of the league, of the cricketing league that Pakistan has initiated in recent years, and their refusal not to be a part of the game, it really shows the security situation, particularly for the sportsmen, that the fact that they are not coming to play the game, that really gives a bad signal so far as the confidence in security is concerned. Viewers, Luke Wright, he stated that he has a young family and that the game was not worth the risk, and that he really, it is with a heavy heart that he will not be coming to Lahore to play the final. Viewers, with that, he bowed himself out, he excused himself, but a big blow for not only for the PSL but for the for the cricket in Pakistan. Also, viewers, Kevin Peterson, he stated that he'll who is in Dubai where he played the game, the rest of the matches. So he stated that he'll pick that up in London. He'll be flying back to London, and he also talked about the bad weather in Dubai, but also stated that the game of golf that he was able to play, it was quite an experience, and he thoroughly enjoyed that. Also, viewers, reportedly, according to reports in the press, certain managers in the PSL, they tried their best to convince the players to come, and they tried to assure them that security was up to the mark, and that they should feel confident and they should come over. But reportedly the players, they refused despite those requests. Also, viewers, the Federation of International Cricketers Association, it had also previously advised the players against going to Pakistan to play, to play the game, given the security situation going on in the country, particularly in the city of Lahore, where recently a massive bomb blast ripped through right in a very busy corner of the city, killing many people and wounding many others. So viewers, quite a day for cricket, a bad day in fact for cricket. Viewers, Pakistan Super League, this is also in the midst of replacing its commentators, and some of those commentators, it is recently trying to get Waqar Yunus and also Ian Bishop. His contract is going to come to an end very soon, and reportedly some of the commentators, they have also backed out from coming over to the country. The PSL chairman Najam Sethi, viewers, he has in fact told the players and the managers to have some kind of a backup plan. In fact, if more players they decide to back out, so they should have more players who should be allowed to play and who can be used, in fact, in the absence of more international players backing out. So viewers, this reflects quite poorly on the security situation that that prevails in the country, and these international cricketers, the fact that they have expressed their concerns it really speaks a lot, about the need to do more in order to enhance the security. Cricket is a game, and of course it has nothing to do with politics. And sportsmen, they in their entire life, their career, it is spent on the field, on the pitch, and they have nothing to do with politics. So they are not doing any politics of any kind. They are not trying to browbeat or trying to humiliate anyone or any nation for that matter. As Luke Wright stated, he has a young family and he has an obligation to his family. He has uh, to do something to for his own security. He should not end up in a place where he jeopardizes his own life. And as he stated, that the game was just not worth the risk, so he just stopped short of of fulfilling that commitment. So viewers, this is definitely a moment where the PSL and also the Pakistan Cricket Board, they should be looking inwards in order to do more on that front, so that people, next time there is an international event, people are not chickening out. They are, in fact, they have full confidence in coming over and playing at your grounds, viewers. So viewers, moving on, very interesting news from Bronx, where the Bronx Borough President, Ruben Diaz Jr., he addressed his State of the Borough address, in fact his 8th address since becoming the Bronx Borough President in 2009. So viewers, he was delivering that address at John F. Kennedy School campus in Marble Hills, where there were a lot of students, youngsters, and other officials in the education department turned up to listen to their leader. As you know, viewers, Mr. Ruben Diaz Jr., he is a very, quite charismatic personality. He doesn't shoots from the hip. He knows what he's talking about, and he is very committed to his community. He is normally seen, inside, on the field, doing some kind of work always for his constituents, not always sliding back and slumping back in his office chair, but rather right there in the middle of the action, trying to bring more services to his people. Viewers, during the address, Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr., he talked about the number of projects that he had been able to initiate in Bronx and how they have uplifted the borough. For instance, he stated that those projects, if they can be, they can be copied and used to, bring prosperity in other boroughs of New York, it can prove very effective and it can be a win-win for the other boroughs as well. Also, viewers, he stated quite unequivocally that for nearly, and I quote, for nearly 8 years, my officers and our partners have developed and executed policies of equity and smart services, making the Bronx an even better place for all its residents, he said. Then he talked about the services that he had actually provided to people in the Bronx. For instance, he had been able to provide access to lawyers for all the tenants who were previously demanding that they be given access to lawyers so that they can work things out with their landlords. They now have access to lawyers. Also, he talked about raising the minimum hourly wage to $15 an hour. Then he talked about the regressive back tax and that he was able to stop it. Then he talked about funding the Orchard Beach project, and he stated that he was able to do it. He was able to achieve that. So viewers, quite an address by the Mr. Ruben Diaz, the Bronx Borough President. He definitely has shown that he has what it takes to be a leader at this relatively young age. He has been able to deliver and get the confidence of the people. They respect him, and as the large majority of people in Bronx, they they stand with him whenever he is out on the street and talking and communicating with the people. You can really tell that he has the leadership skills, that there is a leader in Mr. Ruben Diaz Jr. So viewers, with that we'll be concluding our today's show. We hope you like our show. If there's anything, any element or anything that you want us to incorporate in our show, we'll be more than willing to do it for you. Please drop us a line at info@millenniumtv.org and visit us at www.millenniumtv.org. This is your very own host Janiser Ahmed from Millennium TV USA. Until the next show, goodbye.